We will start this week's session with a recap from Selene, who probably of everyone had a really good night, comparatively. So I will mute my microphone, and I'll be sure to unmute it when I need to speak. But I'll mute my microphone, step back, and let us know what's happening in Selene's world.
Yes. So that I'm currently screaming for some clerics to help in cleaning up the mess. I forgot about the effects of the Fomorian eye. I forgot why I put it in the Hessian sack. Aside to carry it. I feel absolutely terrible, and I'm currently calling in cleric to attempt to fix the problem. Remove curses, create restorations, just send it. I did find out a lot of information, which is good, but I accidentally transmuted the revealer in the process.
Yeah, that kind of happened.
But I have a couple of working theories as to the nature of the tower and other such things. Mainly because I imagine it would be at least amongst the academia relatively common knowledge that there is a place or places that fiends come from. There are place or places that celestials come from, and there are place or places that elementals come from, and a place or places where the dead go when they die. And I'm sure it would probably be very au fait with the last one there.
Yeah, they're certainly there and not there. They're somewhere.
Yeah, they are somewhere. But no, I'm just very concerned that I accidentally screwed up. And I would rather that not be the case, so I'm going to make sure that she gets healed, and we can have a bit more of a chat, and hopefully I can find my friends, wherever they got off to. I would very much like to have a chat with Mordecai, but he's... well, I don't know where he is.
Yeah,
he's otherwise detained.
Yeah.
Yes, otherwise detained.
Yeah, he's having a cell of a time right now.
Oh.
So speaking of Mordecai, hi. How are you?
Confused and trying to understand things and trying to figure out why in the world they're detaining me behind a locked cell, and when I didn't do anything at all for the first time in probably my life that I'm thrown in jail and I didn't do anything. And I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm just waiting, abiding my time, and I'm going to figure out how to do... Well, I could instantly bamf myself out of here if I really wanted to, but I don't want to leave my shit behind. I only just got that shit back. I am not going to leave it behind again.
Thank you for abiding by the law, if only to keep your stuff. But yes, you are in a holding cell because things are happening and they need a measure of control, and yeah. So I think when we left you, you were helping out someone who is also thrown into a holding cell. That's more like the drunk tank, who is needing to sleep off his carousing even in the midst of a disaster here. And you learn that despite there being perhaps some unsavory folk here who actually did commit crimes, there is kind of an unspoken brotherhood when it comes to folks who need to use the bucket. And you were part of a wall that offered some discretion, since your cell is like, it's in the middle of a room and there's like a couple there's a couple police and guards that are going around. They're not like watching you or stalking you, but there's like a working desk there, and it's part of traveling through. So, just to give the person a little privacy, even though they are an inmate for an evening.
Mm.
So, all right. Anything else to add then, Mordecai? Otherwise, we're going to go over to Bright because while Bright has a lot of stuff going on, I told Derek that he could go last.
Nope, I was more or less waiting for Bright's word so that I could just bamf her out of there, and she never really gave me the signal, so...
Yeah, well...
Right ran away.
I'll let her answer to that to that deficiency. Hi, Bright. What's going on with you?
I don't understand, because he was good. Couldn't leave something behind like this that would hurt people. And I don't understand how he left something me hurt people either. But how could it have hurt someone when he was so good? He did everything for people, and now he's gone, and what he left behind was this tower of fire? Can't believe it. And Norelai was good, and she's gone too. And she couldn't even help him turn back from Salt. I don't understand. Why is everyone who's good things? That's all.
Yep. Would that I had that answer, but I guess we're going to have to find out together. I'm in on the ride with you as well, Bright. So lastly, I hope that our dear little forest gnome here was able to get you some time to get your notes together, Investigator Jacob Stillwaters. And what are your thoughts about the things that are going on right now?
Unfortunate. Truth is I was hoping that what I ended up finding of this group was simply a off time. That the smaller things were just that, small bits of vandalism and just relatively insignificant in the middle of nowhere, very well. But now, the youngest one, perhaps the oldest one, never been good with gnomes, seems to have committed a crime. At worst, manslaughter of an officer, which will end up here going very badly in this regard. Guardsmen tend to end up looking after their own, and they take the death of one very, very serious. The other problem comes down to Bright now changing it from an investigation to now a manhunt, or gnome hunt case. And if that's not bad enough, I now have to end up detaining Silverleaf, who at this point has been less than cooperative. And at this point, I am simply hoping to end up here maintaining order. However, given the fact that, well, Bright, as our alias here dictates, has managed to end up just removing themselves, I guess they believe that they're above the law. They believe that the laws of the land do not apply to them when they feel it is necessary. Adventurers are supposed to be heroes. Yet once again, it comes down to the city guard doing what's right.
I'm curious, Jacob, because you have an interesting stance on magic. Do you believe that this is, is this the magic that is enabling a person to do these things, or is it really just the person and the magic is, in the magic or the ability is not necessarily a part of it? And are you worried for yourself, especially given your current circumstances?
When it comes to magic, no different than using a dagger or a sword. Do not arrest the dagger. I do not arrest the sword. I arrest the wielder. Second, as far as what I am experiencing, I keep my focus on my duty. I leave those thoughts to philosophy. I am not one. I am a man of duty, of honor, and both of which are being sorely tested right now. I find the irony that the most monstrous thing around me has also ended up showing to be the most honorable. Miss Crumb, for speaking, despite the fact that what she is, by all technicalities, she has not broken any laws that I am aware of. And in doing so, I have no reason to maintain the detention. One hope that Mr. Silverleaf is smart enough to end up knowing that and will end up using that to his own advantage and be out in a couple of days' time. At this point, we need to end up handling the fire in the tower first. I'd like to end up getting his help on that, but he made that extremely difficult, and more so for, well, Miss Tribble. Or Triddle.
Life is an interesting process, even if you're on the unside of it, or you're caught up in some interstitial space between. Then very well, with these synopses, good comment in chat. Let's go to let's go over to the ossuary here. As we had left off with Selene. I'm sorry, I'm calling you out. Is this episode brought to us by Hungry Jacks, by the way?
Yes, it is.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Not sponsored. No, I wish.
Oh, so,
although you guys would call it Burger King over there.
Yeah. Well, shoot, I'm sorry. I called you out with a mouthful of food. Do you need a minute to eat? I'll go to someone else, I suppose. If you're
That's right.
If you're slamming down lunch or something, then
no, I'm all right. I'm all right to go. I'm all right to go.
Sure. All right. Plus, in fairness, you said don't even at me, so I'm adding you. All right. So we left. It is nighttime. You have been up and studying, more conversing. You are in a chamber that is that's filled with beautiful bone decorations, as ossuaries are wont to have. And the skulls here actually have their jaws, which is meaningful because it means they can actually speak. If they were in the mood to do so. Oh snap! J-Man gifted a sub to you, Lethality. Thank you, Journey.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Journeyman.
I'm gonna give J-Man here. He is such an awesome dude that I'm gonna spam that he sucks. J-Man, we love you. Thanks for being by for our Tuesday game.
Where is?
So yes, she had gazed into the Fomorian eye, and apparently after learning some things, and again, as I said, I always keep this handy. Ever since you had that encounter, this has been right on my desk, ready to go, just in case that I ever needed to wear it for a while. Just things get a little weird, and maybe they are, as I can roleplay now someone who has a big funky Fomorian eye.
Yep.
So she was answering questions, and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was very quickly going to get the clerics to give a little healing from that very prompt baneful transmogrification that just occurred.
Yes, she is a rather large, lumpy raisin looking person right now. She's not necessarily, screaming in pain or that, oh, woe is me. She seems to accept what has happened. Though, of course, someone get in here. There's a thing that has happened. And so we'll pick up in this moment. As responsive to your calls, there are a couple of the guards that I was describing Remember that there are armed. The deeper into into Weejass's temple here, since this is a large old complex here, especially with someone as important, you start getting into armed guards in case there is a ne'er-do-well who would want to plunder treasures, like they are in the midst of this citywide disaster. Or, they mean harm. And while, you and others may be willing to accept the death if it occurs, is there really a need to rush it by just having some rando sneak into your church and put a dagger in your lungs?
Exactly.
Or lung, singular, I guess, for you, Selene, though. That's a whole other... that's a whole
other kettle of fish.
Yeah. So they come running in with their spears leveled, and they're looking around, and we have the Grand Matron here, the Revealer, who's the High Priest. Though she's in this kind of Quasimodo style look, holds her hand out and tells them, "No, stop what you're doing. I am still me. This is part of what is necessary." And the guards, I mean, they glance at you not for instruction necessarily, but they look at you with a bit of a sour eye, and she snaps their attention back. "No, Selene is no detriment. She brought a great gift, the gift of sight and clarity. Now go to your jobs." And they stand up, hold their spears up, give a little bit of a bow salute, and turn and boop, exit.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
No, I am not sure. But this is the only way to find out, I think. There is little history on this kind of people. And this is an opportunity to study and learn.
Selene is kind of at a conflict at the moment, because whilst the Revealer is very much correct, she's also like, this also isn't good. So she's like, okay, but if you feel your sense of self slipping at any point, please, please get yourself healed.
I am in no better place for healing or an end to be put if I go mad.
Well, let us hope that this is a boon and not, a blessing and not a bane, because if something bad happened, I would feel absolutely terrible the first time in an Ossuary, and I end up accidentally transmogrifying the Revealer. Oh boy.
And there's an ominous crack-a-boom, because remember, it is raining this night. You have had a long day, and I will release you to a room. There is much that I must explore with the knowledge and gift that I have been given with this form.
Okay, don't stay up too late. I'm gonna take the eye with me, as it's keeping something else in check. I had an encounter with a rather powerful bay creature, and he decided to try and bind something to me, and the eye keeps that thing at bay. Not that it would be dangerous, just he's a pain. The thing is a pain in the ass, to put it bluntly.
Yes, I understand why the Fae would flee with just a taste of what they are and what they feel. They have right to be scared. And her odd speaking and accent, which has come with her transformation, is there is somewhere in you is a bit of a quiver. Still, very well. I would need to consult the eye. I will go with you, and I will stay by your side to silently read in regard while you sleep. That's not a problem, is it?
Given what I've been through in the last couple of months, no. Not at all.
Very well. And
Better
she stands
someone
up
from the
and
church than someone from the Shadow River.
her knobby bones and everything, like you hear things kind of like click into and maybe even out of place, or at least out of where they were and into where they are now in her interesting form. And you two saunter over, and she follows you to your room, allows you some privacy should you wish to disrobe or change, and pulls up a chair and has some books brought in.
Nope. Sleeping in this is fine. Sleeping in this is okay. I've slept in much less comfortable conditions, so.
Less comfortable. What, like the desert?
Yes, like the desert, actually.
Oh. Well.
That is a story and a half.
Story not necessary now. You get sleep. I need to study for as long as I have this form and this understanding.
I'll leave you to it then. And then I'm gonna long rest because I need my spell slots back so badly right now.
Very well. There is, while you do have Fey ancestry, being a half-elf, and
I don't have trance.
Yeah, you don't have trance, though you do have the ability. It says that you cannot be magically put to sleep. However, the revealer is willing to sort of magically aid your sleep to give you like a good, like super restful slumber, if you would like a sleeping aid. But this would be you're going to be naturally resistant to it, so this is more you're going to have to allow for it to happen if you'd like.
I mean, I'm already pretty tired, and I sleep relatively well anywho, just because of the fact that, I've both magically and physically exhausted myself, so...
Okay.
The offer is appreciated, but it's not necessary.
Okay.
So...
Alright, so you...
To sleep it will be.
Yep. Alright. So you get some sleep, and we are going to, well, really, I mean, Mordecai, unless you're doing anything in particular, you ended up being a part of the wall, but you'd seem to be rather adverse to talking too much to anyone else in the holding cell here. Is there anything in particular then you'd want to do overnight?
Not particularly. I'm just trying to make it look like I'm sleeping.
Okay.
Because I don't breathe.
Yeah.
And eventually I will need to feed on something.
Yeah. You are kind of locked into that. That was my computer that made that noise, by the way. You are kind of locked into a cell with a lot of people, and yeah, this is a little desert flashback there. Okay, so sure, you are. You're getting pretty good at this. You've been this isn't your first night as a vampire here, so I don't even need to have your roll. But go ahead and get some sleep, and well, I guess we'll see you in the morning. Jacob Stillwaters is in an inn room. I should have gone over real quick to the holding cell, and then of course we had the dun-dun-dun. You actually have an inn room because there were people fleeing from the inn, like from town, because of the attacks, and you actually got a pretty good place at a decent price, and you had given your suspect turned guest, or I don't know what she is to you now, but you had given her this nice 4-post bed, and you decided to crash on the couch. Was there anything in particular at night that you were going to be doing, or is rest on the docket for you?
Rest is most certainly on the docket.
Okay.
Now, I'm not naive enough not to end up with sleeping unarmed. Now, no to the Lady Crumb, but given what she is, I think we would both be in agreement to be extremely foolish not to end up at least a few weapons by.
I'm sorry, the voice broke up. A few what?
A few weapons nearby.
Okay.
So, the sleep with a blade over here in chest, case of hammer, well reached, dagger, just in case.
Yes.
I'm not going to do anything horrible. Sleep in my armor.
I was just going to ask, are you in your clothes this time, or are you? Are we going to have another beach incident?
Given the fact that I will be keeping a certain degree of modesty.
Modesty? Okay.
You're kind of breaking up.
Yeah, the voice is kind of in and out.
I will end up trying to speaking a little bit loudly as I end up adjusting it accordingly. I just realized that it was the sensitivity was far too here much at one point, so...
That sounded a little bit more consistent.
How about now? Is this reading fairly well?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
You got it.
Very well then.
All right. So, keeping a weapon by your side, you're going to sleep, and she isn't, but she's fine. There's like some books and whatnot that are, that are in here, kind of what you see in the room. Just some entertainment reading. This is kind of like an epiphany room here. That perhaps some poets or composers or whatnot would rent this place out in order to read books that are here and collected that have poems, maybe some books on philosophy or talking about not being a philosopher. And so Miss Crumb is she's existing in a conscious state, and so she's just on the bed reading. Nothing too dire.
Well, propriety and all.
All right. So the evening is going to pass, and I do have a list of considerations.
Okay, so first and foremost, we gotta do a rouse check, right?
Well, so I guess this is gonna be a basic feeding scene for Mordecai. Though something similar is going to have to take place just simply because it's been days without blood and you've been under some duress. But we'll get to you in a moment here. When we get over to... What order would be best for this? Okay. We're going to start with Bright, and the things that are that have been considered and carried forward. There's been nothing against your ideas that you've had that we've talked about here, and so I will put it on you to carry us into the scene, and we'll roll with it from there.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what the scene is yet.
This could be either coming back into town or going to a specific location where you want to pick up there. The other things overnight, there was not really a problem with any of that.
So it's the next morning then.
Yes, yeah, we are in the next morning.
The one thing that I asked you is about magic focuses. because that was why I wanted to go to a magic shop, but you said the magic shops would all be closed. So
Yes.
I will have to find out if that's a thing I can make, or am I stuck in that department?
Well, yeah, unless you wanted to wait for this kind of emergency lockdown of the city, you might be able to craft your own. It'll be easier if you have materials that are maybe more aligned with the arcane magics that you wield. Barring that, it could be possible to cobble something together, especially if you have a personal effect that in some way might be able to be used in a sentimental fashion as a way for you to concentrate and organize your thoughts. So that could be something maybe not as powerful as sort of a pre-prepared focus object to imbue and not attune, but to attune yourself to be comfortable casting your magics through it. So if you have something personal that you wanted to craft, then you could take some time to, find things. There's also, because of the fact that this tower had appeared and exploded, and there's been a lot of magical stuff that reportedly has been plundered from the area. You might be able to find, a back alley magic item dealer, or if you wanted to find your way into a magic store, you can imagine that if they're closed, that they're going to be warded, but that's your call if you want to try and take that chance. So a focus isn't completely out of your reach. It would just depend on the amount of work or the type of focus that you'd want to have.
So when you say it is powerful, what does that mean for me in practical terms?
Items that would be more akin to an arcane focus, seemingly precious metals, gems, rare bones, things like this that are sort of just attuned to magic. When you pick them up, they've been prepared specifically for that. You pick it up and it's your focus. So something that would be less powerful would simply be, not to a mechanical detriment, simply that it would take some more time to either craft it, get to know it, to figure it out, so that if you want to cast a spell, it's the spell that you want in the location you want, and not that totally other one that you didn't mean to cast that ends up 30 feet that way.
Okay. Okay. So I guess I'll put that on the back burner for now. Since Bright technically doesn't know that all the magic shops are closed, she probably isn't really. I don't know. Okay, so so I prepared new spells this morning, and I want to send a sending.
Okay.
Send it to Loki.
Okay.
I have met him after all, so. And what I want to say is important news about your sister. Meet me somewhere, name a place.
The spell does not go off. It's as if he's not targetable.
Okay. That's interesting. So he must be dead. Even crosses planes. And we know that and it's different from the mute effect that they had in Aslandia. Right?
This is not this weird kind of it's not that flavor. Your spell doesn't find a target.
Okay. Well, that's bad news. That's bad news. Okay. Well,
there could be other explanations as a heads up, but I mean, if you want to entertain its death, I don't want to take that kind of emotional state you're in.
Yeah.
Right now, but
I mean, there's mind blank and anti-magic aura and all that, but I mean, most of those things are pretty rare. And, well, that's very sad. Okay, well then, paired, I think. And, oh yes, I'm also going to cast Mage Armor. Seems like a good idea today. And yesterday, I cast, because I did it twice, right? I cast Nistel's Magic Aura to lock in regular gnomeness again, my very last casting of it. And then I cast it again to say Human Child.
Yes.
24 hours. So I want to ask one more thing. Sorry for all the upkeep and horsing around.
You're a wizard. It's natural.
I know. my upkeep phase is very long because I play blue.
Yeah, right.
But that is to verify that spellbooks and spell focuses are not themselves magical items. Is that right? Like they won't glow with detect magic.
There, I would say that there might be like a residual glow of something that's not specific. It's kind of like having, maybe not all trinkets are magical items, but there's definitely weird things that might have I don't know. You have to be keen to pick it up. It won't like there's a magic book and it's your level 1 textbook from wizard school. But maybe to someone who's super keen, it might be, because of the drawings and the writings, magic is passed through it so often and so much that there could be residual detection, but it won't just be an automatic. Oh, that's an illusion. Oh, that's abjuration. Oh, that's whatever. It's just it's in this weird state where it's not a magic item, but it could be magical.
Okay, so that's tricky too. Okay, so everything is hard for me today.
It's one of those days, Bright.
Yeah, this isn't the best day. Okay, so so many questions. So the terrain where I was digging my little gnome hole.
Yes.
Because what I wanted was something that was kind of off the beaten path.
Yes.
And maybe like under a little rock that I could excavate with mold earth.
Yep.
To find something like that.
Oh yeah, easy enough.
Okay.
You can go to the beach.
Okay.
Yeah, there's sort of farmland. You could hug the river, and there's plenty of rocks and nice dirt. And it's not that there's no trees in this area. It's just that this is heavily forested over here. But there's several types of terrain that you could choose to go to for and find these conditions.
Okay. So what I'm looking for then would be a place where it's not obvious that the ground has been disturbed. Actually, the sort of place where gnomes might build a little town.
Okay. Then if you'd like, there's maybe like a little over here by the river. There'd be sort of like a little copse of trees and some stones next to the river that's slowly passing by. It's also springtime. A lot of animals. Well, everything's kind of wet too. A lot of animals are out and about, and in your best judgment, because while you are under pressure, you didn't have anyone hot on your heels, so you could practice some discretion. We'll say that you could find a little kind of brushy, some trees, rocks, and whatnot around an area by the river.
Okay, well that's pretty nice. Okay, so what I want to do is dig the hole as deep as I can with mold earth without making it a big fiasco. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, all right. So we're talking like Minecraft. You're just digging straight down, kind of a thing, or you just want to put it 5 feet in the ground like a.
Well, I want it as deep as I can, but
okay.
mold earth only lets you, like, dig,
you'd have to, like,
on a slope.
Yeah.
It doesn't let you, so it's kind of like Minecraft in that you have to go down slopes.
Okay.
5 feet at a time.
Yeah, right. You're taking one block at a time. All right.
Craft.
Okay, so yeah, sure. You're out there. You found this area. You begin that, and as you're doing that, much I guess like Minecraft, you actually find a bit of a parallel tunnel, and by tunnel I mean this is just a little burrow. And so as you're excavating the earth out, there's a rabbit that kind of pokes its head out at you as you're digging down, and it's making angry noises at you.
Hey, little rabbit. I don't even know if you want to talk to me or not.
It's chittering. It seems rather upset. And you can see that there's like a couple little like baby bunnies that like peek around the tunnel as well. And then the rabbit just sort of like pulls them back in and.
Well, I didn't mean to disturb your little rabbit hutch or your baby bunnies. I would never want to disturb baby bunnies. Here, you can have carrots in my rations.
They are
I still
vegetables.
have a dozen. I'll toss Bunny a little vegetable.
Okay. They clear out of your excavation area though as you've intersected a rabbit hole or a warren, I guess, an underground warren. But yeah, you dig down a ways until you start hitting more rock than dirt than what the spell can handle.
Sure. How far down am I?
We're gonna say that you are. Oh, you're 20 feet down.
Okay. Well, I guess
some
that's
good soil.
can be. Oh, a crit. Thanks for that crit. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna go ahead and bury my spell book and also my magic ink down here.
Sure.
But I'm gonna hang on to my arcane focus. I guess I have to. But the Nistel's magic aura should conceal my
Your.
and I have a disguise. I don't have a disguise, but I will soon, and also my mage armor.
Okay.
Because Nistel's magic aura also lets you say radiates magic or doesn't radiate magic, and I want to not radiate magic. That's very important to me right now.
You're in such a rush this morning. You get up and you forget to tune the aura, and you just here I am.
That's why I did all this stuff last night. I mean, the aura at least. The rest of it is this in the morning. Okay, so that's good. I'll go ahead and fill in the hole now.
Okay.
And not forget where it is. I mean, I think as a player I can remember where it is, because as a player I don't really know where it is. But in character I'm definitely not going to forget where this is.
That's the best kind of memory. Yes, you buried it in a notable spot for you. As
notable
you're
for
filling
me,
it in,
but hopefully hidden for everyone else.
You're getting up to where the rabbit warren level is, and as you're starting to fill in once more, like this adult rabbit kind of goes and gives you a bunch of rabbit grumbles, and it goes back and.
You can have another vegetable, little rabbit, for disturbing your home. I didn't know it was here, or I would have, dug in a different direction. That's all. I'll go ahead and climb the rest of the way up.
Okay.
Boy, nobody wants to talk to me today. Although, I guess in Loki's case, it's really not his fault. Okay.
Yeah,
and then once the hole is filled in.
You're going to the city?
Yeah, and when I get close, I'll cast Disguise Self.
Okay. Yeah, it's,
I mean, I'm going to get the lay of the land before I, various disguising.
The morning is soft. It's overcast, and there's kind of to call it a drizzle, it's more just sort of like more than a fog, a mist. It's kind of misting. Like, you can feel the little, like, rain particles, but it's not just like, oh, I'm in fog, and this is fun. Woo, swirl, swirl. But there is some fog, too, on this cold, damp spring morning. And you are going to be making your way into the city. And it's not like the streets are barren, but definitely the city has a different vibe to it. People are still concerned. You are seeing people, they're not wearing as ostentatious masks and clothing. And in its own weird way, because there's definitely a tiefling fashion subculture that runs through this city. There's almost where we went from a race of who can like who can wear the more ostentatious or wonderful things, like what can you do with your tail and your horns and whatever else. It's now sort of who can be the most mutely expressive, as there's not really mourning clothes, but a lot more reserved, certainly a lot more conservative dress in this time. Since there are pickpockets, people would probably just be more likely to, snatch jewelry and everything. So there's a mood to the city that kind of matches the weather. It feels kind of suppressed, cold. It's still moving as the mists move and as the sun is still, rising in the sky. But this is the beat. You're on the streets in the city, and this is your feeling. So where are you going here in the city, Bright?
So, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't, like, armed guards at the city walls or anything like that. But I'm kind of conspicuous, as I am now, so I'm going to go ahead and turn myself into a human child. It's Cora from way back.
Okay. So you change your form, and in a discreet place. And yeah, there's certainly patrols that are still out. The roads have. It's a check-in station, not like everyone's registering, but there's definitely people. There are figures of authority on the streets, just making sure people are on the level, that they're aware there's a presence, as it's not necessarily just for crime prevention or to catch, but also to just try and enhance the calm of the city. As people are worried, there's a stress, and by knowing that there's authority figures out there, it can help get the city back to normal, so that it is vibrant again, and people are wearing ostentatious masks and flashing their gold and having, I don't know, like some piece of jewelry that goes from like horn to horn, and a cap on the tail, so like the tail is held up like a scorpion or something behind the tiefling, and all kinds of just fun, weird stuff that tieflings can do. Yeah, we're this is the mood. You can pass by. No, you're looked at, but you're not getting second looks, or no one's going like, "Hey, kid, what, blah, blah, blah," and you can enter the city.
Okay, so I do that, and I'm gonna go ahead and head for the temple.
Okay.
I would head for a magic shop, but since they're probably going to be closed. So once I find that they're closed, then I'll head for the temple.
Okay. Yeah. So you are making your way over to this house of worship for those who follow Ouijas, and you are seeing a lot of stores have closed signs, especially if it's more luxury goods or things that aren't necessary, such as like clothing and food. And in those areas where stores like bakeries or butcher shops, not that you'd go into it necessarily, but the places that provide staples, there is an increased patrol presence because they are staple goods, and they don't want anyone fighting over it, so that the city can still be fed and again not panic. So yep, all the luxury places are closed. You go over, and sure enough, there is a large, very there's just something about the architecture that does dip into the macabre, though it's not like Dr. Wily's castle from Mega Man, where it's a big skull with it's nothing that is like so overtly death and doom kind of a look. But there's just it has the austere presence of a place of death, like a mausoleum, where it's a beautiful, solid piece of architecture, and it is certainly a place that is meant to be fixed. It's meant to be revered. It's meant to act as a lasting memorial that goes beyond the lifespans of the people who attend as they're alive or are interred there in death. So very stoic, very beautiful. A lot of depictions of death, and even of Ouija's herself, which, not that you have to do a double take like, whoa, is that Selene or something? Because I mean, it's just the color of the stone. But you are finding, a similarity that you're seeing this goddess who just has this beautiful radiation of magic. Though there's always this look to her in the mosaics and the statues that you see on approach, and even through the sort of open 24/7 parts of this place that the public can go to seek counsel or remedy or answers. And those eyes of hers just always are. Those eyes are always looking at you as you're walking past, and it's piercing. Not necessarily judgmental, but it's a recognition. It's as if Ouija sees you and recognizes you as you are making your way further and further into this place of worship.
The architecture. So the columns, they're not Corinthian or Ionic, right? They're Deric.
Yes, they're very. Yes, this is built in the early Deric style of architecture.
Okay.
I have no idea what you are referencing.
Okay, so I expected there would be like an acolyte at the door or something.
There's no one that's
Brilliant.
greeting, because there are some people, like this public area does have others in it, but you do see that there are members of the clergy that are moving about, and you're passed by, and someone will be with you soon, little one. Unless are you in need? Is this an emergency?
I don't know. For someone that I know. Are they here?
I'll tell you what, little one. Why don't you go sit over? Do you see that nook over there? Why don't you go and sit, and I will make sure that myself or another member of our clergy will get you right away.
No, I need a specific one. Her name is Selene, and she just got here yesterday.
Selene, very well. I will ask around.
She's half elf and half bone.
And half boat?
Bone.
Bone. Oh, she came with the injured. I'm sorry to hear. I hope she wasn't burnt or crushed too badly.
No, not too. No, she came separately. She's very distinctive. You wouldn't miss her, especially because she just got here yesterday. She had a big guy who's made of salt with her.
Oh, I may have heard something, though. She didn't appear to be injured. Anyway, child, please go have a seat. I will be with you as soon as I can. I need to deliver this very important box.
Okay, thank you.
And
I'm only gonna sit in the nook for about 30 seconds.
Okay,
So.
sure. Enough to show you at least went over there. All right, so you go to the nook that he pointed you to, and this is, it's not exactly like a timeout chamber, but it's a nook that is offering a little bit of privacy and contemplation, and there you have this woman again, who is this embodiment of magic, of death, of grace, of finality. And those eyes are they're still on you, bright. As you kind of walk up and you go to sit into the chair even for 30 seconds. And you see that this goddess is in different states of like in fully, well, I'll say clothed, but not necessarily in clothing, in flesh. Then, you know, partially skeletonized, fully. You're also getting her musculature. You're getting things like that you would see in a modern anatomy book of, you know, like blood vessels. And so it's the same woman presented in all of these different ways here. And each of these layers of the same person still have those eyes that are always watching. But you're quiet. This seems to be kind of a dimly lit corner. Not particularly spooky, like, oh, there's shadows crawling or something. Though, of course, you may feel differently. But if you're not going to stay there or meditate or wait, where are you going to go after the 30 seconds?
Oh, so how big is this temple? Like, if I were walking around and exploring it, how long, without any restrictions in movement, so to speak, how long do you suppose it would take to search it?
Oh, if you're walking around, that would be a little different than searching, because then you're like slowing down, you're looking under places, and you know.
Oh, I'm only searching for Selene. I don't need to look under the rug.
Okay, all right. I didn't know how thorough you wanted to be for whatever you're doing. Given all the people moving, and this is a large enough facility, you do see that there are areas that are guarded and off limits, or that they only seem to allow clergy through these armed guards. In the public area, I mean, it would take you maybe 10 minutes just to make sure that, you know, people might still be wearing hoods or masks or something, to go and make sure you're, you know, are you, and looking. But honestly, with you walking over the corner, you don't see Selene immediately in this. You don't see. What did you do?
Hold on. I gotta deal with one more thing. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fine. At the same time. What? Cats, right? Hang on. Of beef. All right, anyway, of course, you know, you hear a noise and she's like, bah, 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 she just runs away. All right, so she doesn't seem to be in this public receiving area from, you know, your mostly certain cursory glance. So she would have to be further into the complex. That would require access, permission, or something.
Okay. And the other question I had is, how long has my timer been running on my disguise?
You're walking, so you know, you walk at about 2.5-3 miles per hour. But you put it up right as you were entering like a busier, noticeable area of town here.
Yeah.
I'll say that it's been about an hour and a half.
Oh, so it's expired then.
Oh, is that one only an hour? Okay.
That's only an hour.
I mean, you could duck into a place and reapply it if you need to.
Yeah, I guess I better do that.
But yeah, it is. It's a little further in. It's not right on the cusp of the city.
Okay. Then okay. So, hey, that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and cast Arcane Eye and use my Arcane Eye to start exploring the inner part of the temple. I'm really just looking for Selene, but if I see anything else that looks interesting, I'd be interested.
Okay. Ooh. There's probably a lot that's interesting in here. But I know your primary target is Selene, so. Okay.
I pretend.
You are you sitting in the nook then and putting your drone out?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you send that out, and I'm going to while you're starting to search now for Selene, I'm going to cut over and have a good morning for Mordecai here. You have managed to fake sleep until you're hearing some morning bells. The guards are coming by, telling everyone, "Wake up! It's breakfast time." And they're coming through with, it's not like roach-infested gruel or anything. It's a decent meal. It's not, this isn't exactly like a 5-star hotel or anything, but they're giving people at least a decent, mostly nutritional breakfast to send them on their way. And they seem to have some orders. The drunk is pretty much just released on his own recognizance after he can manage to walk and not stumble around or, hold down his breakfast for 10 minutes, kind of a thing. And a few of the others, it sounds like that a bail has been posted for him, and so that they're going to be allowed to leave. And as they're going through this call, because you were just in a holding cell. It's not like maximum security or anything.
Right.
And so Mordecai, you're called as you are going to be you're going to be taken to the question room again in order to be asked what you know about everything that's happened, and to remit information, as they can there's a good chance that they're going to let you go, but they need to go through this step now that there's been a little bit of time for other fires to be, probably more metaphorically put out. But so yeah, you're called and said, just be ready. We're going to come for you in a little bit, and we're going to take you to an interrogation room. And so if you want to say goodbye to any of the others, you're welcome to. Otherwise, they're going to file out and do what they're going to do. However, the orange tiefling that was in the cell is still held there, and there's no there was no message sent to him. No one said bail's posted, or that we're just gonna take you to to another cell or to a question room. He's up. He's eating breakfast. Is very quiet. But that's that.
Did I ever get his name?
No, you did not.
I would have probably asked him his name by now.
Okay. Well, I don't know. You were being kind of coy last night. He tried talking to you, and you rebuffed him. So.
I was being honest. But yeah, if he doesn't really have anything to say, then I'm waiting around to see who it is that comes for me to get my testimony, I guess.
All right. Well, so you're told that they're going to fetch you. Would you like to go over and talk to him? He's just kind of like eating.
Not unless he has something to say to me.
Not in particular.
I'm not particularly bothered then.
Okay. So time's gonna pass. He's gonna finish his bowl, and give it back. He's gonna call one of the guards over, hand the bowl and the wooden spoon and everything back, and is just gonna go and. Not to you though. It's like you, him, and like 2 other people that are left in here after a lot of the holding cell was cleared out. And now that everyone's gone, I can. Lays back on the cot, and he's not sleeping, but he's it looks like he's trying to enjoy himself. Like this is his measure of freedom in the holding cell, because he gets a cot now and can rest. Looks over to you. You're not hungry?
Nah.
Huh. Could have shared.
You can have it if you want it. I don't want it.
I'll take it. And he gets up and walks over. Leans down. 3 hots and a cot.
That's what they tell you.
Goes back and sits on the like the one open bunk that's open here, and is facing you, but he's looking down in the bowls. He's kind of like stirring his grits, and no, I must have a new person today. Food's food.
You been in here long?
I've been in here for a day.
Hmm.
I've been
Fair
in and
enough.
out of this place often enough, though. He sniffles again. Yeah, well, it happens. They might as well just reserve me a place, I guess. I've got one of those faces, you know, and he smiles, and and when I say like orange, like he's like the citrus fruit, with a tiefling complexion, very strong jaw. Like this is a person who's definitely on the physical end. I mean, even his tail, I guess, you know, for tieflings, his tail is buff, because you can't skip tail day. Come on. So you know, so he even has a proportionately muscular tail as well. And I don't know. In fact, we could even say that he wouldn't really have anything here for it, but you see that he's like pushing his tail against the floor, and it's kind of like an isometric exercise. Like you can exercise your muscles just by pushing your hands together, or by by doing things like kind of like the equivalent of push-ups and stuff too. So he's working on his tail kind of lazily as he's eating as well.
One of those faces, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm distinguished. Everyone seems to know me, and none of them are the right people.
Depends who you ask.
Yeah, well, people you know, and I suppose more importantly, it's the people that know you. I try to ingratiate myself, and it always seems to be with the wrong people. You, though, you don't have this kind of face. No, I don't think it's a case where you know a lot of people. I think people are knowing you more, maybe more often than you want to have happen.
I don't know. If they know me, I don't know them.
He's eyeing you up and down as he continues to eat, and kind of wipes some grits off his lower lip there.
Maybe I have one of those commonly mistaken faces.
Yeah, you stand out. In fact, if I were to say, he sets the bowl aside, leans in. You've got a little bit more human heritage to you. I can see it. Your jawbone's a little softer. Yeah, it's just a feeling, I suppose. Your eyes, too.
I mean, you would be correct. I do have a human parent.
Was that rough for you growing up?
Not particularly.
Where did you come from then, I wonder?
Maybe that's on my face, too.
He looks, and I've seen hints you got tattoos.
I got tattoos.
Yeah. You're a fascinating person. Well, I don't believe you did nothing to end up in here. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't believe you didn't do nothing to end up in here. I definitely think that you're going to be getting out here soon. I saw the papers. In a time like
Yeah.
this, they don't need people like you behind bars. They got people like me to feed.
Why would you do?
Wrong place, wrong time, I suppose.
Happens to everybody now and again.
I was in the part of the city that was afflicted. And, kind of stomping grounds, you could say. Not always the best neighborhood. Decent enough people. Not a bad place, but a place where you could also go and be left alone time and again. And, well, there were some people after the explosion that ended up running past. And I went over because they collapsed, and I was looking them over, and someone in the alleyway saw me, passed it on. Police have a stick up their butts right now, or a flaming tower even. And yeah, so I may have been taking something out of their pockets because they were unconscious at the time. But look, man's got to eat. As you can tell, I'm a big boy. And, it's not like I killed him or nothing, but, well, questions don't exactly, well, in this time anyway. So here I am. Apparently I'm a murderer. Apparently I killed 2 people, or robbed corpses, or, oh, I imagine there's a whole list of things that they're gonna try and throw at me. Try and put me away longer. I seem to be a nuisance.
Seems a little unfair. If you didn't do it, and they have a thing that detects whether or not you're lying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't lie that I was taking some stuff off of them.
I mean,
I
that's
thought
the
that
worst of it.
I thought they were dead or dying. What could I do? It's not like I was gonna finish them off. That'd be too gruesome. No, it was some. There was probably a couple just walking past. Nice tiefling guy and a human. Something weird about her though. Her eyes were just. They were like. Well, if I said they're like ours, then. I don't know, but they weren't. There's something about those eyes, something crazed, something primal. Even in her injured state, she just had this look.
Is it a tiefling man and a human woman?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does tiefling look like?
Well, I don't know, we all look the same to me. That's a joke. Honestly, we have a lot more diversity than the humans do. Ugh. If it wasn't for her eyes, I probably wouldn't be able to tell. She had short hair, though. Nice bright orange. Anyway. Yeah, look who's talking. No. Yeah, young kid, probably, I don't know. Couldn't have been scratching 20. Violet. His horns look kind of like a crown. Kind of swoop back up through his hair. Well, most of them. Looks like one of them broke off.
And he was alive when you left him?
To be honest, I didn't really check. I went over, because I saw them. They seemed like they collapsed. I wasn't going to feel for a pulse, but I saw that they were carrying some stuff on them. So, I took it, and, well, things played out as they did. And as I'm a frequent visitor to this place for many reasons. Here I am again, and it seems like they're not just going to let me go in the morning. Not this time.
But if you didn't do anything wrong, I mean, pickpocketing somebody, yeah, that's petty theft. I mean, they might put you away for a couple of days.
It's not every day a tower explodes and people are... think I'm a thief. You should have seen... People were just grabbing up whatever came spilling out of that hellish place. But still, I don't have connections, I don't have a pretty face, and I've been in here more than once. They're probably going to hold me for a while. I'm not concerned. Not like I have much to go to outside of here anyway.
I know that feeling. But, hopefully, it's not too long, since you, like I said, if you didn't do anything wrong.
I did something wrong, but... yeah.
Petty theft isn't anything wrong.
I like your attitude. What's your name? Can you give me that at least? You don't gotta tell me why you're in here. What's your name?
Mordecai.
Mordecai. He gets up. He's still eating, but he extends his tail over to you. Mordecai, I'm Oblee.
Oblee. Pleasure to meet you, Oblee.
Pleasure's all mine. I suppose you get to meet me again for the first time. Anyway, thanks for the meal. And he kind of boop boop, like not like boop boop, but you know, he bangs on the bars with a wooden bowl and a spoon. I'm done again. And someone comes over and takes it. And two of the others, so it's just you and Oblee in the cell, as the two others are escorted out for their own reasons.
Yeah. Just stick to your story. Tell them the truth. They have a truth detector anyway.
I ain't got no reason to lie. If anything, right now, I'm gonna have a room to myself soon, and they're gonna feed me. It's a lot better than what I get outside this place.
That's sad that that's the truth.
It's life. Things happen.
Yep. Things happen.
Sometimes you step in it, sometimes it falls on you from above.
That has a lot of meanings.
Well, now that I have the room, if you pardon me, I think I'm going to stretch out and enjoy this luxury suite of mine.
Have at it.
And he sprawls and he's not being he's not, you know, like staring daggers, or he's not turning his back to you and whatever, but...
Minding his own business.
Yep, minding his own business. And there's going to be a guard that will arrive, and... Sorry, I have Raichi hair, just apparently... My fan just sort of like blew up a little poof here. And so a guard's going to come up, and Mordecai Silverleaf, if you're ready,
Me.
we could use you in the interrogation room.
Lead the way.
And the guard, who seems to be familiar with Oblee, looks over. Oblee, nothing funny now. I'm going to open this door. And he waves his tail dismissively. Just have fun. Mordecai, tell him the truth now. And he
Always.
stays up on the cot. And you're taken to an interrogation room. And we're going to go to the morning at the inn, where Investigator Stillwater, it's you know, the light still comes into the room. It does look like a dreary day out. Some fog, some mist kind of coming down, coating the glass. It's not threatening to freeze, but it is cold and foggy. Just one of those, you know, just one of those moods of the city. And especially in a place like this, compared to Green Shield, you know, Green Shield, when fog rolls through, there's a lot of ambiance, you know, the trees and the running water and everything just sort of, it's already kind of aquatic, but here it's just kind of cold and gray, and it's a different vibe for you. Despite the same job, just the change in venue certainly, you know, it stirs your inner monologue as an investigator. But I mean, as you stir, so too does your special guest. She sets down a book and oh, you're awake. I hope you rested well.
Yes, very. He kind of sets himself up and kind of ends up grabbing a small wash bowl and just kind of dries off his face, or wipes off his face, trying to gain himself ready for another day. Well, Miss Crump, I'm going to need to end up taking some time to end up continuing on, and still have a tower to investigate. I'm hoping to be able to end up finding out how Mr. Silverleaf is still doing inside of the holding cell at this point. I may require his expertise when it comes down to the investigation of the tower. Kind of leans to check through the windows. Hopefully he has a view of the tower from here, if it's still burning or what have you.
Yes, you can't necessarily see the tower, but it is producing that just otherworldly light and darkness that's acting like light as it's reflecting up through the mist and the fog. So it is still a beacon.
You know, I've always hated magic. Everybody ends up pretending that it's an exact thing, but then I look at moments like this and I left to wonder. Well, Miss Crumb, my offer is still on the table. If you wish to end up continuing to accompany me. At this point, well, I would hate to end up leaving you be, but I am not here to detain you any further. You've answered the questions adequately. Anything else would simply be gain personal for the sake of personal sake.
Ah, you're weasing me on my own recognizance.
If that's what you wish. I just think that the situation would say otherwise. But on a legal standpoint, I have no reason to detain you. So, with that being said, he kind of continues to place on his armor, make sure that his tabard is adjusted just right. Picks up his hammer. Outside of that, I need to continuing on. There's a lot of people out there that are currently needlessly suffering.
I believe I will be escorting you to the precinct. However, I am probably not going to be allowed into the areas that you would, given your profession. So I will take you as far as there, and then I will go and see what there is to see in this city. Perhaps do a little window shopping.
Very well, then. He reaches to the parasol at the door and offers it to her.
Huh. Perhaps today it will be used more for keeping the wetness off than the sunlight.
Either way, it's at least fashionable for a woman of your stature. Now, he opens the door. May we be off?
We may.
And with that, he starts getting ready to head to the precinct.
As you're walking, you see that there are a lot of shops that are closed, probably due to an order here in the city. As you are seeing that there is more of a lockdown. There's people in the streets, and the businesses that are open are more the necessities than they are the luxuries. So, I mean, you got some clothes while stores were still open for the day when the accident happened, but it seems like they're being asked to close so that way the staple stores can be guarded better.
To be fair, we haven't ascertained whether this was an accident or an attack, or perhaps just a trap. laid down. We have no idea what the circumstances are, and I'm hoping that the individuals at the precinct will be able to fill me in further. Perhaps they have gone into detail when I ended up turning in that horn.
Well, if it's all the same to you, while you have some business here at the precinct, I believe I'm going to make my way down to the docks and see if I can find some comrades. I might be able to get some information from them. And frankly, I would love to know what's going on here as well.
That's what I trust that I don't have to end up expressing to you that should I receive word that you have assaulted another individual, taking up their, well, red waters, then I would be legally obligated to end up holding you, as that would be a felony offense.
Of course.
Fantastic. Please don't end up making this day any worse than it is. I've already had to arrest one individual because who I happen to know. I would much rather not end up having to end up arresting a second.
I have a delightful taste of freedom right now, and I certainly would not want to jeopardize that.
And he places a gold piece in her hand. For any amenities you may find or any necessities you may find.
I'll spend it wisely.
I trust you will.
She gives it bing, a little flip, and catches it, and pockets it. She's wearing a dress. It's probably. Let's be real. Modern women's dresses don't even have pockets, so let alone she'll never hope to stand a chance. So. She'll have to, I don't know, tuck it into her sleeve or something, just kind of, and with her drizzly umbrella, then she'll disappear into the midst of the city. There's crowds and murmurs that are just, out there that you can hear, but it's difficult to see the further out.
Be well, Miss Crumb. So, off to the precinct then.
Off to the precinct, and we will have you be escorted to the interrogation room, where you're told that Mordecai will be brought shortly, so that any information he can give, or that can be gotten if he's proving resistant, and there's kind of there's an understanding with what you had discreetly conferred on the arrest. And so this is a room, though, that will be on the interior, no windows out or anything. But you are asked to be a part of this, since you at least to have some notes or knowledge of this character. And so there you will wait, and you can have your book, and they'll give you a coffee or they'll give you effectively a prison breakfast too, if you want some grits with maybe a little cheese or something in it.
It would be fantastic.
Okay. So yep, you're given coffee and grits, and you're there to wait for Mordecai to be brought in. So now I'm going to, as we're getting people together here, we're going to go back to the ossuary here. And Selene, you are getting up in the morning, and the high priest here, the revealer, is not by your side, but you do have your bag.
Yes.
You are, as far as you can tell, as intact as you were when you entered. Well, arguably a little bit more so, as you feel refreshed and restored.
Quite. I am just going to make a couple of early morning notes in my notebook. And then, I believe someone was calling for me, were they not?
Did I have someone calling for you?
Well, would there be, considering Bright is looking for me?
Not yet, no.
It
Not
doesn't
yet,
seem
okay.
like they're actually interested in telling you that I'm here.
Oh,
You will
well,
be...
I will get up and stretch, and
Okay.
I think I might like a pear for breakfast. Eat a pear for breakfast.
Sure. You remember where the refectory is for the clergy, and there does seem to be as you're walking through, Selene. You're intuitive. You're a wisdom class here. In fact, what would your passive insight be?
My passive insight is 18.
Oh, excellent. All right. And Karma Dilemma, interesting name, and thank you very much for the follow. How many times have we been in a Karma Dilemma in our lives? Oh my goodness. So as you're walking through, it's kind of morning, things are good, you're feeling refreshed, and you know where to go here. You're seeing that the couple staff are seem to be like lower tier, like acolyte maybe, but maybe some just newly minted priests and priestesses, people who are more like religious servitors than officiants. But you don't see you don't see any guards posted at the inner doors where you remember seeing them before. So I don't know. Maybe they're called off somewhere. It doesn't sound like there's an emergency, like they would have needed, like a bell's going off, like, hey, we need everyone at the front gate or something like that. And there's kind of a help yourself, like some breads, cheeses, and fruits are set out for people to just take. As the couple kitchen staff are more of the understudies here, because this is also like it's a seminary school as well as a religious place.
Yep. Yes, and I'll just have a piece of fruit and very quickly knock on the door, just to have a look in the inner sector, just to make sure that everything is all right.
Okay. Yes, the door, while it's not guarded, is firmly locked.
I might go find someone and ask them about that.
Sure. So you go wandering around, trying to look for someone who would be in a position of authority to carry a set of keys for said door.
Yeah.
And while you're doing this, I'm going to cut back over to Bright, because both of you are in the same building and you don't know it yet.
Yep.
Bright, as you are, you're floating your little eye drone here, going through, and the grounds and most of the building is accessible. However, there are areas that block your eye from entering, or even to really see beyond. And as you're sitting in the corner for some time, you're not under duress. No one's afflicting you in some way. You also you're picking up on the fact that the place is busy, but it doesn't seem, especially for the size of this place and it having a magic school, effectively like a religious magic school in it, and this is also like kind of a hospital and morgue. There's a lot this place does. But everyone seems to be rushing around because maybe they're understaffed. You're seeing a lot of people in very similar robes. No one with any sort of officiant extra, a different colored sash or, some sort of pageantry or symbolism. As they're going, and a lot of them look younger, or maybe would just be a sort of like a member of the clergy who's a lay volunteer in some capacity. So they're wearing some very basic robes. They seem to know what they're doing, but they're not officially a part of the service of the service givers of the faith here. And so there's just something. There's something about this that just seems a little off. However, you are going to finally catch Selene as you're kind of you're flying your eyeball around in the areas that it can go, and you see Selene sort of out of the corner of your remote eye go up to some doors, test them, and kind of looking around, and seems a little flustered, or just she starts off in a direction.
Oh, look, there's a host.
Oh, hey, look at that! 14 folks coming over
Woo!
with hashtag Lizard Hermione. Or wait, is that Hermione? No,
Oh, it's Hermione.
Hermione.
Germany.
Lizard Hermione. Welcome, welcome, Tank Girl and everyone who came over to our Tuesday game. Here, in return, I'll give you all some Tuesday hype. Boop, 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 boop. I hope you all are having fun.
Okay. So is Selene in the area of the temple where I might go? Or is she in employees only?
As she's in a part that would be restricted, but right now there's all the staff is busy. So if someone caught you, they'd probably ask you to go no further, but it's not exactly it's not exactly under under any sort of heavy guard.
Okay. So what I would like to do is well, the eye is certainly going to follow Selene. There's no question about that. And I'm going to see if she's getting closer to me or further away.
Okay. Wait, so you're trying to like triangulate and meet up with her, or?
No, I'm still in my nook.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out where she's going and
so she would be going away from you. She's trying to test parts that are further into this facility.
Okay. So I'll have the eye follow her, and I don't want to cast another disguise spell because I've already used all my level 1s except for one. It's a tough day for level 1 spells. So I guess I'll just have the kind of stand out. Well, I guess I don't stand out that much because I'm wearing kind of drab clothing for my human girl self. So I guess what I'll see is the halls. Do they have any like nooks and things in them where a little stealthy gnome can hide?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah. There's some nice like some more of these Derrick era architecture pillars with some different nooks and crannies.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to try to sneak down the halls and follow to where Selene is.
Sure. Sure. Go ahead and you can roll a stealth at advantage since it's kind of monitored, but no one's really on you, and it is a little darker and more somber.
That's not very advantageous. 13.
13. All right. So. You are, as you first enter the hallway and you're kind of sticking to the sides, there's another member of the faith here who seems to notice you out of the corner of his eye, because these are very wise people. And excuse me, little girl, are you lost? You shouldn't be going down that way. All of our food and help is out in the main chambers.
No, I wasn't looking for food. I was looking for one of your clerics. She just got here yesterday, and her name is Selene. I really need to find her.
Oh, believe me, ma'am. Many of us are looking for our for others, even those of us who get to wear our robes. It's been an odd morning, so I can do my best to try and find this Selene for you, but
what's happening?
I'm not exactly sure where they are. We've been looking. Perhaps they went out. A good detachment of them might have gone to the tower again. That's been a course of study, but all I know is I received word that I was needed. I do a lot of volunteering for the church here, and so I'm here to do everything that I can to help out, as it seems that there's a shortage of those a little higher up than me.
Oh, so I mean, what's going on? Why is it so hard for everyone?
Would that I could tell you, little one. But I don't know. I showed up here and I've started to do what I can to fill in all of the tasks that are needed to attend to those who are still
I
sick. I
believe him when he says I don't know.
You could roll an insight on him.
I would like to. Oh, poop.
Yeah, I mean he's you don't think he's like old enough to be senile, you know? He's older for a human, probably, you know, like 45, 50. You know, he hasn't gone exactly, you know, he's not like totally gray and ooh, what's, you know, what day is it kind of a thing. He seems with it. He does seem a little flustered, but he seems to be honest as well. You're welcome to doubt him, but there's no real reason to do so.
Okay. All right. I'll go back to the. I'll go ahead and cast Ascending to Selene.
Sure.
Selene, the acolytes here are stupid and they won't let me talk to you. Would you come out into the public area, please? I'm right here. Okay, bye.
So, Selene, a little gnome's voice swirls around inside your ear and delivers the following message, or the preceding message.
All right, give me a second.
Okay. I guess she can't hear that part, but okay.
You respond okay, but damn, the spell's already gone.
Well, I mean, sending does give the chance to send a response, so.
Yeah, I heard your response, but
Yeah, you got your
don't get
response, but
you don't get my response.
Oh yeah, that's right. So after hearing that, I'll head out and see what's going on.
Okay. Sure. So, turning away from trying to find folks more on the inner chambers. You make your way to the periphery, and it looks, especially compared to the immediate crush of people that were in here, it looks busy, but definitely not the levels that it was yesterday. Though there are a lot of people rushing around because it just seems to be kind of short-staffed. But you emerge out into the public, like the large public worship area with all the different prayer nooks and
with
places
my mask on.
With your mask on. And you start looking around for a one pigtailed, pink-haired gnome, which you don't see.
Yeah, but I mean, if I see Selene, I'll motion her over to me. Finger with the eye, so I'm gonna know when she's here.
Yeah. Selene, there's a strange little girl motioning to you.
Selene will go over. It's like,
yeah, it's me. I look different today. It's better for me to travel incognito right now.
What is going on?
Yeah, I was hoping you could tell. Okay, so I can tell you some fun things. I mean, well, they'd be fun, but they're not fun. And then maybe you can tell me what's going on here.
Okay.
Can you find us a little room? My disguise might wear off again.
Yeah, you can find a place, Selene.
Yep. We'll go to a confessional. Come with me.
Yeah, that's oddly appropriate.
Well, I'll just say to one of the acolytes that this little one and I need to have a little chat in the confessional, and go and do that.
Yeah, it's open. I mean, you can. There are people with some rank, but we're talking. I mean, not too high up on the totem pole here. But they tell you attend. Please attend to the spiritual needs of everyone here. We're trying to make do with everyone that we have. I would imagine that most of them are free right now, since we're trying to hand out food and aid and to try and reunite families that have been sundered in these events. And
you were doing an amazing job. Keep at it.
And so as you go into here, it is much like we would consider to be a modern like our day and time confessional booth. However, in this one, you enter into this small room, and the small wooden booth that you enter, actually, there's a seat that you sit down, and you are laid back, and it closes almost like you're in a coffin, with the person to whom you're confessing being on the outside and asking you questions, so that you can reflect on death and perhaps any regrets that you've had in your life, while you're simulating being in a final resting place of some kind. So inside here you have this little boop, kind of a coffin little booth, and at least if you're sticking to what you're supposed to do, Selene, you close the door on Bright, and it hinges back, and so Bright, you're laying inside a very comfy. It's very padded, and it does help you to try and relax and feel comfortable, and as much as it can physically. But you are laid back, and then Selene, inside this private room in which this device is, you can administer the whatever you want to call it.
So, this coffin thing, it's a little weird, but at least I'm not sitting on a chair that's the wrong height for me.
Fair enough, sir. What is the matter, Brian?
So, everything sucks. That's a thing. So, what happened? But, so I kind of accidentally killed one of the town guards. So that's a thing. But they didn't catch me.
Selene's just like, I'm sorry, you what?
Yeah, so that was a thing. And then,
Wow, the confessional was the right choice then, seems like.
yeah, so, and also they didn't catch me, so they put Mordecai in jail instead.
Oh.
And Jacob is, well, I mean, obviously he's siding with the town guards on this because, I mean, that's what he'd do, right? And, oh, that's a thing. And then there's also, whatever's going on with you, it's probably not as bad.
Well, I may accidentally have turned the revealer, the High Priestess here, into a Fomorian.
Oh. We need to switch places.
No. She hasn't lost her sense of self.
Good.
Although the inner chambers are locked, and I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
That's why I was looking for one of the higher up acolytes to ask what is going on. Although I'll have to continue to search for one after the fact.
So, I mean, I can problem if you have just exactly, well, really solve my problem today. I'm just really kind of hiding from the police, and I don't know if we'll have to just leave town or what, but we'll have to do something with Jacob. He'll have to, like, something he's gonna want to accept. So, you know what?
It's a difficult position that we're currently in.
Yeah. So, why? Okay, so tell me about this Fomorian thing, and then tell me what it was like when you accidentally started that war.
This isn't my confession, Bride.
Well, I mean, but that's. I mean, I don't really follow this religion, so. I mean, but that's really what I need, is to understand. You know, because I can't just turn myself in. That's not.
No, they'll throw you in jail, and
yeah.
that's...
And we have more important. We're the only ones who can save things, and I'm sorry that I did that thing. And I know what I did, but I didn't really mean it. I didn't think it would happen that way.
Well, with the information I've learned, I do have a working theory, but it's nowhere near complete yet, so I'm going to keep that one to myself until such time as I have more information.
Working theory about what?
About the tower.
Oh, well, I mean, I've had working theories this whole time. It was something that Mr. Halver had built, and then he kind of folded it in on itself so that it would be more compact and less ostentatious, and so that he could just lay low and do his works.
Wow.
And then when he died, it came undone. I mean, that all makes so much sense. But I don't understand why it's all on fire.
Well, that's the thing. From learning about it, from the clergy, the fire has a very strong pull towards tieflings.
Yeah, we know that. I mean, when Mordecai and I were at the fire, it seemed to be worse for the tieflings than it did for anybody else. But it turns out that it burns up humans too.
Yeah, but no, what that resonance with tieflings tells me, it has something to do with it could have something to do with tieflings or something related to tieflings, because that, like, to target them specifically. I said it's a working theory, it's not nowhere near complete yet. But
I don't know, I thought
Right, while you're in this
maybe it might be some.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying maybe it's like infernal fires. Plausible? Is that even really a thing?
Well, I mean, I imagine it. I mean, I imagine that, like, infernal blood comes from, the infernal bloodline comes from a place, just like, other such things do, and I imagine that the place where the infernal bloodline comes from has lots of fire.
Okay.
I mean, that's just a shot in the dark, obviously, but it would make sense that, tieflings and their ability to light stuff on fire, instinctually, would kind of say that there's fire. That the place where tieflings originated probably has a lot of fire.
Matty, what was you going to say?
So as you're in this quasi-sensory deprivation coffin here, having a confessional here with Selene, that seems to be going both ways, both sides of the coffin lid. Especially in the current context, you do remember seeing ancient tieflings in Mr. Halver's reliquary, in one of the visions, and how they were, to put it politely, interacting with apparently his eggs.
Right.
And you're having this memory back to that, and there's a little silver flash next to you, and inside this, well, to you it's not really confining, because it's built for even bigger people to be able to go in. It's not supposed to be super claustrophobic, but it's supposed to be more of a more intimate environment. But another vision of this silvery worm shows up and speaks in Draconic and disappears.
It's so frustrating. So, Selene, here's another thing you might have some experience with. So I've got this little magical creature that keeps following me around and saying weird things, and it's not Piggy Sue. It's different. It's
Gotta clarify.
What's it saying? Do you know?
No, it keeps talking in Draconic, and I was able to get it translated sometimes. But okay, so it keeps asking.
Hold on. Why didn't you come to me beforehand then? And she says in Draconic, I speak Draconic fluently.
I don't know what you just said.
I speak Draconic fluently, right?
Well, I mean, things intervened. But
Like you killing a dude.
that was the thing that intervened. I didn't really want to come out and say it.
That was the thing. Yeah. The thing.
Look, Bright.
Murder.
To put not too fine a point on it, this is a confessional to the goddess of death. You killed a man. Own up to it.
I already owned up to it. I just don't want to keep talking about it.
Well, you might as well. It's not like he's coming back.
No. So the little dragon spirit keeps talking in Draconic, and it asked riddles. And the first riddle it asked, we found the answer. It was asking. It said, walls and fire and whatever. And the riddle answer was a lamp. And then we found the lamp, and the lamp had written on it another. Actually, I have the lamp. Well, I don't have the lamp because I buried it, but I almost have the lamp. And it has written on it another riddle, and the answer to that riddle was sleep. But then I slept and nothing happened. And now it's here again, and I don't know what it's saying. And I never know when it's going to appear. It just comes out of nowhere sometimes, and trying to do things that bring it back doesn't always bring it back.
Can you repeat the set of syllables that it said?
I sure do.
Intelligence. From the wizard of all people.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just roll this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
All right, so you hear this little voice from beneath the wooden door here. Go over what was said in Draconic, and you know what? She did a pretty good job of repeating. A couple things here and there to refine, but for someone who doesn't speak it. Bright says the magic words, Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Heiny Heiny Ho. And
So Draconic is Yiddish, that's good to know. Polish is Klingon, that's good to know.
Selene, the words come across as follows: a house of wood in a hidden place, built without nails or glue. High above the earth and ground, it holds pale gems of blue. End.
Okay. So this one's a little harder than the last two. I might have to think about this one for a while.
A wooden house.
A house of wood in a hidden place, built without nails or glue. High above the earth and ground, it holds pale gems of blue.
Let me think about it for a few moments.
Yeah, I'm going to think about it too. But look, I wrote it down, so we won't have to, pale gems of blue, I don't know.
Your little silvery riddle giver, though, is disappeared.
Yeah, so the thing is, it turns out that I don't think we actually have to answer the riddle giver. We just have to follow the clues. Because we tried answering the riddle giver before and it didn't do anything. Instead, we had to find the lamp. And then the second one was sleep, and I guess maybe sleeping is all I had to do because I slept. Hooray. I wasn't sure I'd be able to, but I guess I did a little. I mean, I was kind of upset. And also, my little gnome hole wasn't as comfortable as I thought it might be. But I still managed to get some sleep. And now here he's asking me riddles, so that's good.
Oh, a house of wood in a hidden place built without nails or glue. I mean, out of character, I know the answer to this riddle. I've heard the riddle before.
So out of character, I don't really like riddles, so I know
Yeah.
the answer to
Out of character, I know.
Riddles
I know
aren't
the
for
answer-
everyone, I
know the
understand.
answer to the riddle.
it. Okay. Well,
But, a
maybe
house
we'll
of
think of-
wood in a hidden place, built without nails or glue.
well, I mean, we can think about it. We don't have to answer it right now. I mean, I don't know the answer, and I guess you don't know the answer either. But maybe we'll think of it, or maybe Mordecai knows the answer. I wonder if that's 25 words.
I mean, I
18. 18.
I mean, I don't know. Would I be able to roll an
20.
intelligence
It's
check?
24 words. It's 24 words.
Would I be able to roll an intelligence check or something similar to see if I do know the answer?
Sure.
Because I mean, that's the only way I'd be able to.
Roll investigation.
Investigation. All right. I actually have an inspiration currently. From the last time we got a proper inspiration that I haven't used, so I am going to use that to give myself
the
advantage.
Shukan ones have.
Yeah, no, this is a proper one from back when we last got a proper inspiration, not just a floating advantage. So I'll use that
Sure.
and give myself advantage, which I'm glad I did because
It's not a 3.
not a 3. Yeah.
Maybe some kind of safe? You know, where do people keep gems? You know, you've heard from other people that the city's kind of on lockdown. Could be something like that.
Oh, it's probably a robin's nest.
Yeah.
They're nests out of sticks, which are wood, and they hide them up in trees. And obviously
Yeah,
they don't
in
use
the
nails or glue.
heavens.
And then it's high up, and okay. I mean, so that's that. Okay, I figured it out. That's not so bad. So I guess I have to find. Well,
A nest.
I mean, that is the sort of thing I would usually be good at. But the thing is, the animals haven't been as nice to me lately, and I don't blame them. But maybe they will just this once.
A nest. Oh, I suppose, yeah. If it is a, I already knew that's what it was, but.
Sorry, we'll play into it. That's fine.
Suspending disbelief for a moment.
Yeah.
It's like, that makes sense. A house of wood in a hidden place, up in a tree, which is the heavens part, not built using nails or glue, but still made of wood. And gems of blue, I mean, I'm sure with a 4, would I be able to roll an int check or a nature check to know that robin eggs are blue?
Doesn't everybody know that?
It's springtime. I mean, this is not that they're like just you're tripping over robins' nests, but I mean, even if you didn't know, it would make sense. The symbolism seems to be there.
Okay.
And you're also having Bright, who is most likely spoke to cute little birds before, and would know their little bird nest colors and such. So it seems to be legitimate.
That makes sense then. Well, I suppose that's what we'll have to look for. But first, we need to figure out how to get Mordecai out of jail.
Oh, Mordecai can get out of jail on his own whenever he wants to. He's just in there because.
It's his...
I mean, I don't know why he's in there. I guess it's safe in there for him. And
his...
it keeps him from antagonizing Jacob, which is the thing we need right now, because he's going to be so mad at me, and I can't really blame him.
Yes, but... Wait, why are they holding him? He is not guilty of anything.
Yeah, that's... I mean, you'd have to ask. He probably feels the same way. I don't really know for sure.
Meanwhile, across town.
Right. Well, if he's in the jail, I'm gonna have to go and see him. I
don't want to use up all my disguises. I shouldn't
I
shouldn't be glowing, but...
You could keep Casimir company.
Oh, is he here?
Yes, he is here.
Hi guys,
I
I'm
didn't
still
know.
here. I'm just a little blob off to the side right now.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was still salt. I'm glad you were
No,
able to fix it.
we denatrified him. As I said, I had the ability to. It's just a matter of actually having the component to do it. You know how it is.
Yeah,
Diamond
that's
dust
been
is
an
not
issue for
easy
me.
to
So,
not
you
easy to
know,
come across.
maybe Casimir could do me a favor while I hide out in here, and maybe he could go out into the and buy me some nice gnome-sized clothes, but like a hood that will conceal my floof, and maybe a new mask. Instead of an
Well,
orc mask, I would like a ghost mask now.
I can. Well, I might be able to do something about that for you. It's just there's something that it will require. I could help you, but you'd have to give something in return.
I understand, but what? Because I'm sure Casimir would do it just like silver pieces, which I mean I don't know what it is that you're asking for.
I could get you all like clothes and a mask, and you would even be able to stay here in plain sight, not an issue. It's just you would need to undergo a dedication.
It doesn't seem like my thing. I think I'll maybe Casimir, would you be willing to go out and buy me some new clothes?
Yes, I could do basic things.
Now that he's talking, even though we're in the confessional, you set the precedent. That would be better.
Well, yeah, like we can. Casimir's around. You've probably seen Casimir, Selene. Casimir's also like, did you see these people, or rather, did you not see? Kind of. He doesn't know, but he doesn't know what to expect in here anyway. Just he senses something's off. But anyway, Casimir's around. He hasn't been, whatever, gaffled in the night or whatever happened.
Yeah, I am gonna have to go and see what up with the honchos.
And I mean, Mordecai has Peggy Sue with him, and I haven't felt her get smushed, so she'll be able to give me a Peggy Sue style report of whenever I call her back. But see, once I call her back, I can't send her back again, so I don't want to call her back unless I need to.
Right. Well, then I will go ahead and see what's going on with that. Casimir can get you some clothing, and I will try and find out as much information as I possibly can. For now, I should be able to get you some common robes that'll be able to keep your face hidden, but you won't have a mask.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine for. I'll just stay in here for a few minutes.
There's like children's clothes and stuff that are here for like relief for kids whose parents are injured or whatever. So yeah, you could provide common clothing to Bright if necessary. But unless Bright, is going to be effectively deputized as a sort of an acolyte in this case, rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub, and you say your prayer, then, you'd have to provide common clothes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to become a servant of Ouija's, I can do that, like magically.
No, that's okay.
I'd like to change schools for free.
Well, let's let Casimir go out and do some shopping.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's so nice of you, Casimir.
We'll let Casimir go out and do some shopping.
And you can go across town and meet with the rest of the party.
Whilst
and I'll try not to get arrested.
Whilst that happens, what I can do is I can buy you a little time.
Okay. I don't really need much time. I mean...
No, I mean just until Casimir gets back.
That'll be fine.
Then right here then with this kind of a break where you're hatching this plan, and we have investigator Jacob Stillwaters sitting at a table as Mordecai is brought into this into this interrogation room. Why don't we get up and take a little bit of a break to refresh ourselves, snacks, drinks, potty breaks, etc. And we'll come back and we'll open up with Jacob and Mordecai, and then we can bounce back to, as time passes, then we can come back to you all and get things resolved, because you have Gathering of Nerds tonight, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you once, but you just
Sure.
stream, it's fine.
Okay. All right. So everyone out there in the audience, thank you for hanging in there. We're going to take about a 10-minute break or so. Come back, maybe have a little bit of get back into the mood table talk, and then we'll get into the interrogation with Jacob and Mordecai.